Hey there guys, just a very quick little video today. There's been a couple of bits of news over on Warcom that are just worth mentioning because one is a bit of a facepalm and the other is actually really quite exciting. First up, there has been an update to the literally 3-week-old Munitorium field manual with the huge swathe of points drops that came along with it. It seems GW realised maybe they went a bit too far and have nerfed the Inceptors, who had admittedly a pretty insane cut. Their Plasma Exterminators became free, so they essentially dropped from 60 points down to 40. This has now been reverted and they are back to their old cost of 10 points each, so your Plasma Inceptors are now back to 60 points a model. Of course, GW being GW, they don't really seem to have understood that part of their balancing was also the removal of Armour of Contempt, so Plasma Inceptors are now technically worse off than they were before, and they weren't really being taken before all that often. Now, I'll be the first to admit, 40-point Plasma Inceptors were, yes, too cheap for what they could bring to the table, but going back to 60 points and losing Armour of Contempt, will we ever see Plasma Inceptors on the table now? No, I really don't think we will. There's really no reason to take them over any of the other options you can bring in a Space Marine list. I just think it seems to be a really ham-fisted, haphazard reversion which they didn't even think about before they made the change. If they had done some proper adjustment and maybe made the Plasmas 5 points each, bringing the loadout to 50 points for the Plasma, that would have been a nice way to reach a middle ground between losing Armour of Contempt and also making it a bit more of a decision between whether you want to go for the Bolter version or the Plasma version. It really seems to me like they didn't think about it at all. They were just like, oh, maybe they were a bit too cheap, let's just go back to what it was before, and didn't even think that, you know, they have lost quite a lot of durability by losing Armour of Contempt in the process. And I mean, on top of that, let's be fair, it's been 3 weeks. We don't even know for sure if Plasma Inceptors were going to be a big scary new meta boogeyman. They may not have been at all. They may have shown up a bit more, but certainly I don't think there's any indication that they were going to be storming the top tables and being the most OP unit in the game by any stretch. All in all, it's worth mentioning because if you did go out and buy a load of Plasma Inceptors due to this change, I am sorry, you've kind of had the rug pulled out from under you a little bit sooner than I think anyone would have expected, so I do feel bad for you. At 60 points without Armour of Contempt, I just can't really see why you would take them over the plethora of other cheaper options that Space Marines have now that so many of their other units have had points drops as well. So that's a bit of a facepalm on GW's part, and I think they didn't handle that well at all. But now there is some more exciting news to look at as well, because in addition to this change, GW also updated their Content Validity PDF. That was a tongue twister, that took me about 10 attempts to say, which shows when certain books and rule sets will be usable to, and as you can see, Agents of the Imperium, a load of the White Dwarf content and all the Nachman book stuff, they are still valid, but crucially, they are valid until June 2023. All of them. So what's happening in June 2023 that might suddenly make them all invalid? And we know that Warhammer Fest is happening this year between 29th of April and the 1st of May. The tickets are already up and they may already be all sold out. But following on from that, 1 month down the line, could there be a release of something that gets announced at Warhammer Fest? Maybe some huge announcement that gets, shown off at Warhammer Fest and then releases a month down the line in June? Does this give us, maybe not confirmation, but a little bit of a strong tease that perhaps 10th edition is going to be announced at Warhammer Fest for a June release date? And that would of course mean that all the older content then would become invalidated. It certainly to me seems like a pretty reasonable conclusion, and would mean that not only is 10th coming actually a bit sooner than I expected, I thought it would be coming in July or August of this year, but it means that crucially we may get our first looks at it, maybe some of the updates and new rules, and maybe even a cool new cinematic in just a short 3 months time. So that is it for the quick update today. There was also some updates to the Astra Militarum in the Forge World FAQ, so go and have a look through that. I don't want to go through all of it because I don't really know enough about the Astra Militarum to go through everything and go through what's changed, but there was quite a lot of changes by the looks of it to the Guard with their new codex. That does make sense. But overall, what do you think about the two changes that we really talked about today? Are you annoyed at the seeming back and forth decision making of GW with regards to the Inceptors? And do you think 10th edition is actually going to be coming for a June release? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.